You hear that? It's like baby.
I hear you.
Zion.
What up?
Hey, look, bro. I already knew I was in the room, boy. But you had one, bro. You got one.
That's love right there.
Real, boy. Everybody go through rainy nights. The world gonna feel this one, little bro. You hear that?
Rainy nights go.
Good morning. Welcome to another episode of Purpose Over Pain. I'm your host, HLW2. Good morning to you all. Thank you again. Once again, we're in the building. We want to thank all of our fans. We want to thank those of you all that are liking, those of you all that are subscribing, talking about the podcast. We thank you. We thank you for the success of this podcast. And we just ask that you continue to share it with your friends, share it with your coworkers, anybody that you come in contact with. Let them know that Purpose Over Pain is going down. And we pray that this podcast have been a blessing to you. We thank you for those who all that have come to sit in this seat. But I'm excited. I got my friend in the building, Mr. Von Zell.
Yes.
How you doing, my brother?
I feel wonderful.
Man, thank you for coming, man.
Yeah,
thank you
great.
for taking time out of your busy schedule to come to Jacksonville, Duval, to sit down. That's right, Duval. Yeah, thank you, man. How your day going?
Man, I feel great.
You feel good?
Incredible.
Yeah,
Just
you
to
look
be able
good.
to
You
sit-
look good.
Just to be able to sit across from you, I feel real good,
To
man.
God be the glory, man. I like that outfit, man. You ain't bring me one of them hats, man.
Next time.
Next time, all right. You normally come bearing gifts, man.
Yeah.
Man. But thank you for coming in, man, sitting down and talking to us today, man. It's always an honor, a pleasure, man. Definitely have somebody in the building that you know, that you honor, that you respect. So I am definitely honored to have you here with us today, man. And we're gonna jump right in, man. I want you to just tell the audience, man, a little bit about yourself, man, as far as where you come from, where you was raised, your siblings, all of that stuff, man, before we get into the meat of everything.
Man, first I want to just say you being an inspiration to me as a storyteller, but being an example. You know, I'm honored to have a black man that I could say that's been an example. You know, it's been about 7-8 years that I've been watching growth across the board and coming here and learning from you and hearing you, man. It means more than you know.
Praise God, man.
And
I'm gonna pay you later, but go ahead. I'm gonna pay you later.
yeah, man, my granddad, Leroy Fields, was in the early 1900s. Grew up, my parents were born right off of Evergreen and Florida Avenue.
Wow.
And so I'm a third generation out east.
Out east, he know what he talking about. He know what he talking about. He say out east.
Third generation. My mom would say the Lower East Side because, you know, she grew up right off of the avenue, right next to it was two fields because she was the Paul Fields.
All fields, yeah, my cousins.
Yeah, and my mom's house was right next door to each other, and then we moved to 15th in Phoenix, where I was born. My mom, my dad on the north side, he came to, you know, he found him a beautiful one on the east side.
Can anything good come from out east?
But I think it was a time when it was the glory days of the east side, where all the black businesses and the east side was a thriving community. That's, you know, my mom was she's still living. She represented that black excellence. She went to Gilbert and they thrived at being very intelligent and smart and
No doubt. Shout out to Matthew Duke.
graduating with all honors. You know,
Yeah.
that's what was her pride and all her friends. You know, we had that community when I was growing up. It was just, and I kind of feel like I grew up, even though I was in the hood, I grew up with a silver spoon in my mouth. I feel like that
Yeah.
because it was so much love, and you know, and it wasn't just all black. It was a black and white neighborhood. I grew up out east, you know, it was black and white. And so, you know, this was before the crack era.
Yeah, yeah. Just it. So look, so it was just you and your mother.
It was me, my sister, 2 years younger than me,
Okay.
and my little brother.
Okay.
And I was the oldest.
Wow. All right.
Yeah, I was the oldest. And, you know, it's when I go back and think about that time, I had the greatest childhood. I don't think I left childhood. I don't think I left childhood because it was so much fun in me as a kid, you know, popping and locking and being in the streets and dancing and, you know, yeah. It was. I mean, we had candy parties, you know, where we would just kids and groups of kids, and you know, we would go outside and we would be out all day.
Yeah.
When we hear outside right now, the outside they mean today.
Yeah.
It wasn't our outside yesterday.
No. Of course.
Our outside yesterday was
It was community, man. You know, we all had each other, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, think about that guy over there. You know, when we was coming up, man, I used to come to my house, man, and we used to play in television and all that stuff, man. So it was different then, man. Mm-hmm. And as you said, being like I think you said out 21st, you all had, it was black and white out 21st. Right. Over here, it was mostly, I don't remember having no white. I don't remember seeing no whites over here.
Okay.
Out east on this end over here.
Okay.
You know, and you know, that brought back to my remembrance that, you know, when you said black and white, because I remember having an encounter when I was playing for Cougar Park. I remember having an encounter going to practice one day, and it was right on Phoenix. They had a barbershop that a white guy owned. And I remember me and my friend going in that barbershop to get some water and how nasty the guy was to us. And so I went home. You know, I told Big H. I told my daddy. You know what I'm saying? My daddy, we went on back up there. He say, stay in the car. Him and his friend went. You know, I don't know what they said, what happened. I just know that my dad and his friend went in the car and you know, got some straightening. However, they got some straightening. You know, they ain't go out there being violent, but they had a conversation. You know what I mean? So, and you just saying that, that area was integrated. You know, it was black and white. But on this side, that's all we had.
All black.
That's all we had. That's all we had. But to you know, to speak to that black excellence, you absolutely right. You know, when you went to Gilbert, man, that was a standard at Gilbert, man. Even when I went to Gilbert, man, I remember Miss Brown, our English teacher. She ain't play the radio. Miss Brown ain't play the radio. She, you know, we couldn't just turn in anything. You know, we'll turn in something. She'll tell us, hey, go back. You know, and so just having that black excellence, man, and having an encounter with that at a young age. And so you say it was you, your sister, and your brother, right? And you was the oldest.
I was the oldest.
Yeah, you was the oldest, man. Oh man, so and I always like to lead with this as well, man. On all of the podcasts, man. You know, purpose over pain. You know, when you hear that phrase, purpose over pain, like what does that mean to you when you hear that?
When I deeply think about it and hear it, all I could feel is that my purpose is powered by the pain.
Purpose is powered by the pain. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
that's a good answer. I like that.
Yeah, my
purpose is powered by your pain.
Yeah, my purpose. Even if I tried to deny my purpose, even if I every wrong turn, or every obstacle, or every bad choice I was hit with, got a purpose.
Yeah.
As much as you want to settle for less, take a shortcut, take the easy way out, never worked for me.
Never worked, yeah. And we realize this as we get older, right? And so on that note, what was your first encounter that you could remember with pain? That you can remember, like your first encounter with pain?
I was a little small little kid. Man, I was the baddest little kid. It was some bad kids in the neighborhood, but I was probably I was
You wasn't
ranked.
the baddest, but you was one of them.
I was one of them. I wasn't the baddest, and this was not bad like they make bad.
Yeah. No,
This was mischievous, like
no doubt.
fun, and just want to take the neighbors' chairs off of each other's chair. You know, we was doing that kind of stuff. But I jumped behind a sofa, and my mom and them had those mirrors that you put on the wall, and I gashed a big gash into my knee, and I remember, you know, like seeing a chunk of my knee out as a kid, and my dad grabbing me and running me to the hospital. But that was my first encounter with pain at a degree where I still can remember that.
You learned from that, didn't you?
I learned from that.
Yeah. And so that was your physical pain.
Yeah.
And so your first encounter with pain emotionally, man, like pain that was that came from somebody or from a situation other than your physical pain. What was your first encounter, man, with a painful moment? That it was, you know, it took some work to get past, or have you had, you know, were there ever a time you had? Because a lot of people, you know, I'm surprised by some folks, man. They come and they may sit down, man, and they don't really have those moments, man, where they that they can remember. You know, our guest yesterday was saying how they really didn't know about any of those painful moments until they got older.
No, man, I got so many.
You got so many, as do I.
I got so many that I'm just wanting to be real reflective.
Yeah.
I remember looking at my community, listening to Pac in '96, and recognizing that we were destroying each other. I would just remember sitting in the car on Phoenix in tears because I understood what crack actually was doing to our community, and it broke my heart because I felt like to be such a young person, and I felt like, you know, I was sharp and all of the things, but I really was lost. I really couldn't see a way out. I didn't. And in that moment, this was a time when I had just jumped out of the car and screamed at the neighbor, like at the corner, about selling some dope to this lady that was pregnant.
Wow.
Like, don't nobody serve her. And
So this was after the song, after you had an encounter with it. Do you remember what song it was that you heard that caused you to?
So Many Tears.
So Many Tears. Yeah.
Yeah. So Many Tears.
So it was a reality song, basically.
Yeah, I'm listening to Pac, So Many Tears.
Yeah.
And you know how that beat, doom, doom, doom. I'm listening, and it talked about, you know, I think around that time, you know, all my friends, man, from Tally to Pappy, a lot of my friends was being killed, and I just knew for a fact I was gonna be killed.
Yeah.
Like I had already prepared myself that I definitely knew that that was my trajectory.
Yeah.
And the reality was, you know, your mama inside the house cooking greens, and the reality is that they don't even know what your pain is outside in this neighborhood.
Yeah.
Mama don't really know. You know, mama, we hiding this from mama.
Yeah, no doubt.
We
Especially if you had parents that wasn't, you know, on that type of time.
my parents weren't on that type of time.
My parents weren't on that.
Type of time. So we
had to hide it.
We had to hide it. So she didn't know the reality, and it's just like this. It was just this moment of me sitting and just looking at the streets, looking at it. I'm just sitting back looking at it as it's going, and I'm like, dang. Now when I go through there, it's gone.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
whole-
yeah.
the whole-
Do you recall how old you were at this time that
I was
you
16.
was 16? You were 16. You hear this Tupac song, and you was faced with the reality that what he talking about. I'm part of the problem.
I'm part of the
Yeah,
problem.
yeah. And so I think not to justify anything that we've done in our past, but at the time, and I've said this before, a lot of times we do stuff because everybody else doing it, right? I think about the times I was out there as well. We just was doing it because for me it was fun. Everybody was doing it. It was like a sport, right? And so when you're in it, you're not really thinking about the pain that it's causing. You're not thinking about that you're complicit to all of the bad stuff that's going on because you in it, you're involved in it, and it's not until you actually step out of it or you're faced with somebody, you get a snapshot of like, okay, this is what this is doing, and so that's what that song was for you. It was allowing you to see you through that song, and just for you to say it became painful, right? And I don't think that a lot of 16-year-olds, 18-year-olds, or 21-year-olds, for that matter, actually just looked at it from that way. And so when you got that revelation, did it change anything, or were you just made aware of what it was doing, but you were still deep in it and you didn't? So did it change it?
I think I covered it up
You covered it.
with drug use.
Yeah, yeah. You suppressed it.
Suppressed it.
Yeah.
Because I didn't actually have a direction.
Yeah. No doubt.
I didn't have a direction. The direction led me back to where I was. And in that moment, the pain was the fact that the escapes were imprisonment or death. Those were the outs.
Yeah.
And so just that, sitting in that, I think that has been the architect of my purpose inside my heart. Though all those injuries has designed a drive, has designed an ambition,
Yeah.
has fueled this relentlessness of growth and development to continue to grow, continue to be better, continue to learn. Because when I look back and I see all the losses, at least I can say I made an attempt towards something in a different direction. And that pain is a huge part of the fuel of my purpose.
Yeah, because it's almost as if we're trying to right a wrong, right? It's almost as when God put on my heart to come back to Jacksonville, 17 years ago. I was fueled by first of all, at that time I knew my purpose. But when God put in my heart to come back to Jacksonville, I was excited about being able to go back to the city, and not only the city but the neighborhood that that I helped tear down. So I was excited about it, and I looked forward to doing that. You know what I mean? But what I found out, even in that, is that the Bible talks about there's no condemnation for him that is in Christ Jesus. Right. And so in hearing that, like the enemy wants to, I believe, hold us at bay to the stuff that we've done in our past. It's like somebody having something on you, right? And that nobody else don't know. And they threaten it. They threaten you with that. And they're saying, hey, look, if you don't do this, I'm gonna tell the world this is what you've done. And so you're a slave to them. And that's the good part about being in God, man. That we gotta whatever it is that we've done, whatever it is that we've been a part of that wasn't right, right? We got to get a release from that, right? We got to get a release from that. Like, I've been forgiven from that. You know what I mean? Because if not, we're always chasing, I believe, like validation. We're always chasing other stuff to cover up the stuff that we've done that wasn't right, right? But not knowing that forgiveness can be granted right at the moment. We say, ask God, man, forgive me for that, Lord. I ain't know no better. Boom, and then move on, right? And so just hearing you say that, like, that stuff really like it fueled, my drive to do other stuff, man. And so I guess my question to you is that, in doing other stuff other than what you've done or you've been doing, has that somehow kind of like eased the pain a little bit, or is the pain still?
It's no matter where I go.
Yeah.
I can go to Martha's Vineyard. I could go to Laguna Beach, California. I could go to some of the most beautiful places. But if Jacksonville, if where I'm from, is still considered a murder capital,
Mm-hmm.
if my community isn't experiencing generational wealth, generational knowledge transfer, if I look at my family members and they're struggling with alcoholism or drug addiction, I still got the pain.
Still got the pain.
Yeah, because I feel a responsibility. I feel like I'm one of the leaders within my family, and so no matter what I'm able to go out and do, that Sankofi bird of looking back, but moving forward, I'm still powered by history. I'm still very well read. My most valued isn't this. My most valued possession is my library right now. But like I just love information. I've always loved information, and I'm close to 1,000 books right now, and so I'm never forgetting, like, I am because we are. I'm just never forgetting that. So when I look at the image that is being transferred as the young black male image, to even when I look at the commercial success of black people in Hollywood, a lot of times it's a negative image.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So my mama could say, hey, you need to get with Tyler Perry while you're in Atlanta. And I say, I can't get with Tyler Perry. Because when I look at his movies, I'm not proud. I don't feel proud to watch the movie because it.
So the hurt and the pain of seeing these things. So the hurt is, you're hurt because you feel like I got an idea where this lead and where this person gonna end up at, and so I'm hurt for them because of what I perceive to be them not knowing. Does the hurt come from that? It's like, like you said about the drug addicts. It's the person that has a problem with alcoholism. Like, is it because I've seen what this do to people, right? And they on a course of crashing out, and I'm hurt from them. Is it that type of pain?
I think the pain is like more about our communication in the family not having that foundation that it had at one point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those values. Yeah,
those values, and just getting together regularly and having a support system as a whole, as a family. Some stuff we'll never be able to stop, but I just know that our community and our families had a stronger foundation, and I feel like we are all on our islands alone now. You know, auntie over here and this person over here, and the families are, they don't communicate the way they used to. They don't get together. They don't even have dinner and, you know, just have dinner regularly together. And I think that that part, I think we need each other. You know what I'm saying? So I think it isn't more so, and I think for me, feeling that responsibility, I used to think that success could change that,
Yeah.
but it doesn't work like that.
Yeah, and to your credit, you know, you even thinking about that because most people, you know, I tell people this all the time: the older you get, the less patience people have with you. They think you're supposed to know better, right? They think you. I mean, you know, I think about when I was running the park, you know, with the youth. The children who were the youngest, they had the most support, right? But as that kid got older and they start playing, you know, midget ball, they was 14, and once they realized that the parents realized that okay, look, Johnny they ain't finna go to the NFL. They ain't as good as I thought they were. They wasn't getting as much support, or if they saw that little Johnny was doing stuff that that may have led him another direction other than them playing sports. They wasn't as, you know, like kids when they were younger, the parents had to support them, screaming. Ah. But as they get older, you don't see nobody, right? And so for you to feel like, hey, man, this is what we're missing. Most people most people don't think about that. They in their vein. They're in, you know, their mode of what they think success is, you know. And so for you saying, hey, listen, you can have all this stuff, but if we don't have this foundation of family, we don't have this foundation of us coming together and talking and sitting out at the dinner table and doing those things. And for that to be painful, I think that's to your credit to even be concerned about that. Because, you know, we're in a world now where most people are not really concerned about everybody else. They more concerned about us four and no more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've been talking to my peers and my friends. They'll tell you for years, just trying to motivate them from afar. Even if no matter where I am, I got a group of black men. I got a group of young black men around the country I've been mentoring. And just recently I realized that I've always been the person that came to every family member house when I would come in town. I would go to my cousins and go to my aunts and go to everybody. And now I want to talk to everybody. I want to talk to them all. I want to talk to all of the uncles, all of the aunts and cousins. Now I got the little group that I go get. That's the younger generation. I go pick them all up and we go out to eat. And
but what fueled that? Like what fueled? Like you ain't, you know, what caused you to bump into that reality that this is what I need to do? Because something had to, I believe something had to fuel that. Like, you know, when was it that you like got to that point where you realized, okay, then, hey, this is what I think that needs to happen. You know what I mean? You know,
man, you gotta sit in some spaces and feel like, you know, I done been in some spots, man, that all I had was God and my family.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
That was it.
No doubt.
I ain't had no friends. I ain't had nobody else but God and my family.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And I remember those times. I remember those times when I couldn't call nobody but my mama.
Yeah.
Couldn't call nobody but my daddy.
Right.
And I remember calling my sister saying, hey, we got to go over here and see about somebody in the family in the middle of the morning, and she getting up out of the bed at 2 in the morning because we got to go see about somebody in our family.
Mm-hmm.
And just seeing that and looking, I got just one sister, my only sister. Growing up, somebody just saw me and asked me about her, and they would say, Monique brother. They would say, so just recognizing, and I've been all over the country, and I realized that don't nobody really care about you. Way, if you pass away, I might cry, but there's some people gonna shed some tears that love you for real, love you.
Yeah.
And so I think coming to that realization and wanting to learn a little bit more about the depths of love, I think that's where, and then I'm 50. I'm
Man, you young, man.
I'm
You
49.
50 years
I'm
old, man.
49, about to be 50. You hit to the 5 decade mode. You get to the 5 decade mode and things start to truly matter. The matters of the heart.
Yeah.
The matters of the heart.
Man, you 50, man. You got to start listening to me, man. I'm way older than you, man. But listen, we're going to take a break real quick. Purpose over pain. Hey, it's Purpose Over Pain. Listen, those of y'all that's subscribing, liking, telling your friend. Remember, listen, we try to support businesses that's doing something. And I always like to share. This is a book that by Sharon Griffin Rogers. This is Hannah's Secret in Savannah. Her book is on Amazon, also is in Barnes and Nobles. Make sure you go out. This is Joe Chappelle book, friend of mine that I used to be in business with, the life and times of the real Billy Ray Valentine. Make sure you all go out and support him. And also my book is Blessed Too. You can find it on Amazon and at Barnes and Noble as well. So those of you all go out, support. We try to support businesses that's doing good business, not just supporting business, but businesses that are doing kingdom work and trying to advance our kingdom. Thank you. Purpose over pain. We back in the building with my friend, Mr. Von Zell. Mr. Von Zell, listen, I was listening to you, man, and and we talking about the purpose over pain and the things that have allowed you to be where you are now. One of the things you were saying about being locked away and being in painful situations. And the first thing that came to my mind when the Bible talks about it was good that I was afflicted that I may learn, right? A lot of people, although nobody don't want to run into pain, nobody don't want to experience it, but I like what pain produces. And it's now that I'm older that I realize that all of the stuff, even the stuff I've gone through, man, had an opportunity, man, before I was 26 years old, went around the world, man, 3 times, young black kid, ex hustler, was able to, a guy from my neighborhood saw something in me. Lester Williams, we know him as Clarence, and I tell this story all the time, how he saw something in me. He constantly would tell me, man, you ain't like the rest of them. You ain't like the rest of them. Let me help you out, right? And me doing what I was doing. When you're young and you got a pocket full of money, you got a little status. You think that it's gonna be like that forever. And I start seeing young black bodies dropping. My friends, T-Bird. I saw Ack Miller. I saw, a lot of my friends dying. And
Bungie.
So I saw all these people dying, man. And I had to go back to him and say, hey, man, look, man, what I need to do, right? What I need to do. And then being able to go and catch a ship at 20, 22 years old, man, and found myself, being away from everything that I was familiar with, right? But God allowed me to see other countries and how people was living, and that was good for me. That was good for me. And it was painful being away from your family, being away from everything that you was used to this stuff, man. But what it produced in me, man, it was life changing. And so to hear you saying that, man, listen, I was locked away. I couldn't talk to nobody. I couldn't get to nobody. And just to come out or to come out of that situation and come out with because a lot of people, man, they come out and they just do crazy stuff, man. They try to do old thing better, right? They come out and they when I say come out, I mean come out of a stupor, come out of ignorance, or come out of whatever. Because I tell people all the time, some folks locked up in prison, some folks locked up in their mind, some folks locked up in their own way of seeing things, doing things, right? But when the light come in, Sometimes people use that light to do the bad things better, right? Not to change that, right, but to do it better, right? And so to see you saying, "Hey, listen, I'm gonna use this to help fuel other people," man. That's a beautiful thing.
I think at a certain point, I realized it wasn't just, it was a collective thing. It was me being in environments or being around people, and it wasn't just about my heart.
Mm-hmm.
I had to make a decision that it was just going to be about following my heart. And that's what, over these last 7 years, was fueled around making choices that would follow my heart, because I could be in connection with you, or I could be in a certain environment. I would make a different decision. I had to get to the root of where my decisions were coming from.
Yeah,
and a lot of times it was the environment and it was the people. And once I realized that, I said, well, let me protect myself from environments and from people, and let me just go within. And once I started going within and really listening to my intuition, because my intuition is very strong. I think my intuition is what kept me safe when I was growing up on the east side. And you got to think about this. Most people may not know how to take this, but I had a mother who prayed me off the street.
Yeah, everybody may, whether you good, bad, everybody know about praying. Everybody know about praying, right? Because when we're in trouble, we call on his name, whether we want him or not. We still want what he has,
But to hear my mom tell me that she prayed for me to get locked up.
Say she prayed for that. How did it make you feel that she prayed for you to get locked up?
In her mind, she was seeing the recklessness.
That's right. Yeah.
And she was seeing that I was at a state where I wanted to die.
Yeah.
So she was saying, I can't protect him out here. His family can't protect him. God put him somewhere where he could be protected.
No doubt.
Because he can't protect himself.
No doubt.
He's planning to crash.
Yeah, no doubt. And I tell people all the time, man, people would rather visit you than view you.
Right. And I didn't get it. I didn't understand it. But then when I fell in love with growth and development and information, and every day I wake up, I feel like I got a chance. I understand it now, because if I wake up, I got a shot.
No doubt.
And every morning I wake up, I look around and see what I do have. What do I have? Okay, I got this. Okay, I can do this.
Yeah.
I just go with it. I don't need a budget. I just started where I needed a plan. But I was always moving with just the intention to produce something different that day, and it be something that would be worthy of what my heart desired.
Yeah.
Because my heart desired something that was righteous and something that was good. Sometimes we don't even realize that I feel some type of way about so-called being a gangster, being somebody from the streets. I feel some kind of way.
Yeah.
The reason why I feel some kind of way, because the more I understand that this was orchestrated, that these drugs came to our community, that we didn't produce them, and that this game wiped out my entire generation, I feel some kind of way. I'm like, damn, they tricked us.
Yeah.
You know, the successful person, me, the entrepreneur, the executive, the visionary, the person who, whole dream of being success, to be able to come back and build a school on the east side. That's been my dream. I wanted to own Jelly Nixon. That was my dream. My dream was to have enough money to come back and purchase Jelly Nixon and turn it into one of the biggest STEM schools in the country, one of the most highly technical STEM schools. So when I looked at Jelly Nixon being purchased, I was,
I missed it.
and not just that I missed it, that I was tricked.
Yeah.
Because I would have been further ahead if I had the right direction. I would have been further ahead if I'd have had the right type of leadership around me.
Yeah, and to your point, that's all of that is real loaded, right?
That's loaded.
It's loaded. It's loaded because the Bible says the seed produces after its own kind, right? And so it's so important for us as people, to I'm not embarrassed about loving God, right? You know what I'm saying? All whatever people see in my life as being a success, right? It all comes from God, right? And so, and I realize now, that I'm older, that like we ain't going nowhere without God, bro. We ain't going nowhere without God. That's why the scripture says, train your children up in the way that they should go, right? And so if we don't give them that, because that's the only, there's no other foundation, right? There's no other foundation. The only foundation it is that, listen, we came from God. We going back to God, right? And that's the foundation that we got to get, because I've been around folks that, that the world see as being successful, right? Because I can give them education, I can give them all of that stuff, right? But if they don't have that foundation of who they are, right, their education is going. I mean, the education ain't gonna be able to carry them. You know what I mean? Their knowledge is not gonna be able to carry them. You know what I mean? And so to hear you say like I was tricked, I was, I feel like
bamboozled.
I got bamboozled. That you know what I mean? That all of this stuff that we could have had, right, that we missed out on, right? But I want to encourage you to let you know, man. Listen, God is, He in the recovery. He in a recovery business, right?
Yes.
That what the devil meant for bad, He turned it around for our good. And some things we wasn't ready to handle anyway, right? And so we just thought that we could have. I say the same thing sometimes. I think all of us are plagued with those thoughts of what we could have done. I'm thinking about the money I have. Saying I could have bought the whole east side, right? I could have, but only God knows what I would have done had I bought the whole east side, right? You know what I'm saying? So I think that the timing is right.
And everything happened for the exact reason. I don't think I regret any of those situations that created that pain, because inside of me was such a great purpose. I immediately dived into purpose.
Yeah.
In my darkest moments,
Yeah.
I don't feel like I was lost. I feel like I was found. Like in darkness, imagine being in a place that they would say, man, this is the worst place
you could be.
And I felt like I was free.
Yeah.
I felt great to be there because I had the time to really, truly get to know who I was. And everything was provided for me because I believed that this was going to be the best situation that ever happened to me.
Right. And it produced our purpose that's in you now. You know what I mean? It produced that.
And it would never wane. Like, this is something that I feel like it never goes to sleep. It never goes away. Like my purpose it can't get cut on or cut off.
Yeah.
Like no situation will make me lose my purpose.
Praise God.
Because it's so baked into my reality. Even if I try to do something different, I'm back to it. I always I go and make a bad choice and crash and burn, and I'm back on purpose because it's just meant for me to actually be on purpose. And so that's the part that I feel is so important about these type of conversations and why, I'm always admirable at what you do. And, I tell people around the world, I got my East Side church I go to. I go to East Side church because I can attest to seeing something in you and you didn't even know I was watching, but I can remember you and feeling like it was something about you that was very different when I would see you on the avenue. And the few times that I did see you, I always felt that way. And I think that from seeing you back then to knowing you now, I think that's what fuels me to want to be close to you because I truly believe that it's sincere. I truly believe that it's honest. I truly believe that, you say what you mean and it's your attempt to become every day the person that you represent. And that can be very difficult because you can say one thing and not have internally what's needed to be that person. And I think that's where another level of pain comes, where that worthiness, that self-worth isn't being fueled the right kind of way. And no matter what you do or no matter what you put on, you still gotta have that.
Oh yeah. I mean, you got to have it because and thank you for that those words, man. A lot of times, man, we believed for so long, the lies that was told to us, right? That you ain't gonna be nothing, you ain't gonna do nothing. You come from here, you come from that. This ain't gonna happen to you. And then not only that, and the lies of comparisons, right? You know, as we come up, we if people were to be honest, we compare ourselves to people, right? Because we see images every day of how people are, this person that way, and a part of us compare ourselves to that individual, and it's not till we get to the place where we realize that, wait a minute, hold up, the God I serve don't make nobody alike, right? He don't make no two people alike. He God, right? I wouldn't want to serve a God who make people duplicate people, right? He don't duplicate people, right? So he made all of us different. And so when we come to that realization, man, that we different, that I'm different, I'm okay with being different. I'm okay. You know what I mean? Now we glean from each other. Of course we glean from each other, but I'm different and I'm okay with that, right? And so when I realized that, right, it that all automatically, it almost like self-medicate. Because now I don't have to put on no airs. I don't have to, I'm okay with being me. I'm okay. You know what I mean? I don't have to be something that I feel that I'm not, but I'm trying to be because I feel like I got to be this to be in this arena, right? And so I can go in this doors as Harry. I can go in this door as Harry. I ain't got to go in this door trying to be nobody else, right? And so, I heard you talking about being able to go to these places and being able to, read. You had 1,000 books, and going in these different arenas. Because when you think different, it almost transcends you into another arena already, right? Because where you at, you're no longer comfortable there. Like I tell people, the more you see, the more you want to be free, right? And so going in these arenas and seeing people that didn't come from where you come from, are you able to recognize the pain in them too? No matter what they have, are you able to recognize the pain in them? Like they got a little money, but they.
No, I think I lean into that. I think that's, I had a dream that I was incarcerated for life. It was a purpose incarceration. Like it wasn't like jail. It was like I was working, and this was a real dream. And when I woke up from it, when I woke up, it was like your dreams are deferred if you don't make a choice to follow your heart and do some of these things that you said you wanted to do.
Yeah.
And so everywhere I go, I think what makes the encounter different for me is that I genuinely want to know. I'm genuinely curious about people. I genuinely like the style. If I say to you, because you got on I work out all the time. So everything you got on right now is what I wear every day. And if I come up to you and I say, hey man, I like these workout shoes, man, where you working out at? I'm genuine about that. And I think that, everything I just accomplished over the last 7 years, it wasn't about me wanting to get a bag, because that wasn't the mission. Mission was growth. Mission was development. I didn't go to Atlanta seeking anything. I didn't go to Atlanta just to go to Atlanta. I literally said I was going to go around the entire country. Atlanta was going to be a stop. Austin was going to be a stop. California was going to be a stop. And I was just going to give a part of myself with the expectation that it would grow me. So if I could just give some of me, and this environment would grow me to become a little bit more experienced as a worldview, it would give me a little bit more insight on how to move. It would give me a stronger value in people. I wanted my value to be in people, because I just wanted to be remembered. That's it. I just wanted to be remembered. I wanted people to encounter me and remember there was something different about that guy. I never told him anything. I never told him where I was from. I never told him I was from the streets. I never did any of that. I never really mentioned any of that. I just went in and added some value. Hey, what y'all working on? I don't see a camera in here. Y'all need a cameraman? Like, yeah, we do. Okay. I'll jump in and be the cameraman. Not knowing that this environment was like technology. I just saw some cool kids. They were different. I had never been around this type of people. I had never been around computer scientists and UX designers and IT professionals, and they were all black. So when I saw that environment, I said, well, I know what I can do. I can't offer knowledge. I can offer, an experience from being a person that would network, and I would always give cues everywhere I would go. If I see you in the corner, I would go over and say, hey, how you doing? What's your name? I'm Wanzel. Why you in the corner? Oh, I'm an introvert. Okay, that's cool. But meet 3 people. Let me show you how you're going to do this. Now, come with me. We're going to go over here. We're going to stand around for a little while, make eye contact with that
So
person.
you felt that you had something to offer to that? Yeah, no doubt.
Everywhere.
Yeah, no doubt. And I believe that's what we gotta know. And that goes back to what I'm saying. God made us different, and it's something that He placed inside of each of us, that wherever we go, it's needed, right? And we ought not shrink back, right? It's needed in every arena, no matter what doors I go in. You know what I mean? No matter what doors you go in, no matter what doors anybody go in, we got to know that there's something that God put inside of me, and if He allowed me to go to this, in this arena, in this atmosphere, I got to know that they need this. And so, and just hearing you say that, man, and how committed you are to Black excellence, and, wanting to use those painful moments to produce something that's better. And so, man, listen, with this, this few time, this little bit of time that we have, man, if there were, and I ask this all the time, man, if there's someone that's out there and they listening, and they will be, and they're in a bad place, like in the valley of indecision, like they don't know where to turn, like right now in this moment, right? And what would you tell that individual, man? They came to you, Vonzel, I want to do this, man. I don't know where to start, man. I'm feeling like I want to go back and do the stuff that I used to do, because this is all I know. Every door I go knock on, man, they not answering. What would you tell them, man?
The first thing I would say is acknowledge that emotion. acknowledge that feeling, acknowledge where that's coming from. Is that reality? Is that real? Like sometimes we can have a feeling and it's just a moment. If that moment isn't real and you're just having a moment and you can go to sleep tomorrow and you can wake up and make a better decision, I would say acknowledge that feeling. The second thing I would say, when you be honest with yourself and you go and you look back, do you truly want to be there, or is it worth continuing to push forward to get to where you're going, or is that enough? Some people would say that going back isn't enough. I can't settle for that. So there's no other choice but to go forward. If there's no other choice but to go forward, maybe these doors that I'm knocking on, they are not the right doors. Why don't you knock on your door? See, I knocked on my door. I didn't, it might have seemed like I was out here to meet people. No, I was working on me. So I would say dig a little deeper internally. You know, have you tried to face what that feeling is? Have you faced those fears? Have you really dug inside? And I think that when you do that, you'll realize that those moments of giving up, they have a source. Those fears and anxieties, and they have a source. And when you get to the source, then you can start to work on what that true essence of that discontent, that anxiety, that fear, that and once you start to transform that inside of you, that's when you can really truly be empowered and have confidence and know that there's no door that can open that gives you this.
Praise God. Listen, let me say this: if there's someone that want to follow your story, man, I believe that there people are attached to us. If there's someone that want to follow your story, man, how can they reach out to you, man? Is that you got a Facebook, you got a YouTube? I mean, tell the people.
I'm out the office, man. You see what the hat say?
You out the office.
Yeah, I'm out the office. I would say, stay tuned to everything that this podcast is doing. Stay tuned to me and Pastor Harry doing some work. I would say stay tuned to us, like working on this becoming a new film. Stay tuned to maybe a film festival. Stay tuned to some things that we could do to collaborate. I think I'm out of the office right now.
Out of the office. I like that. Out of the office. Listen, I'm your host, HLW2, man. This is Purpose Over Pain. Remember that God loves you. The Bible says, despise not small beginnings. It ain't where you start, it's where you finish. We love you. Continue to like, subscribe, and tell everybody we love you. Purpose Over Pain podcast.